Hello, my name is Suzanne Longstreet, and I'm a mindset and success coach. You can find more about me at successandclarity.com. I want to talk to you about your anxiety. If you're feeling anxiety, and quite frankly, who isn't in these times? It is the end of April 2020, and I have been coaching and talking to clients for the last 6 weeks since we've been in this pandemic. And I'm happy to tell you, my clients are not suffering from anxiety anymore. And as I was talking to them, and I thought, I really want to help more people. So I'm coming out here to put this up on my YouTube channel so that you can also benefit from the wisdom of Neuro Linguistic Programming, I'm a trainer in Neuro Linguistic Programming. I'm also an NLP coach, so that it can give you some relief from the anxiety. And I'm going to give you some tools and processes and techniques that you can use to help you with your anxiety. And the one thing I would ask is that if you could please share this with other people that you know who are suffering from anxiety. And if it works for you, if you could send me a message, either put a comment below here on this video or right below. I'm going to post it everywhere because I just want to know that this has helped you. All right, so here's what it is. Anxiety. In the world of neuro-linguistic programming, the anxiety is a warning from your unconscious mind to pay attention to what you want. All right. I've probably introduced a term that you may not be aware of. You might have been hearing it called the subconscious mind. Well, in the world of neuro-linguistic programming or psychology, which we have the grandparents, the neuro-linguistic programming is built from the foundation and the tenets of psychology. And what it is you have a conscious mind and an unconscious mind. You might have heard the unconscious mind referred to as the subconscious mind. And a lot of lay people call it the subconscious mind, and it's the same term. In the world that we live in, we call it unconscious mind. And if you read more about the unconscious mind, you'll find that it is more of a professional term. So I use the unconscious mind. And if you're used to it being called the subconscious mind, that's the terminology that a lot of lay people use. So again, we have a conscious mind and we have an unconscious mind. Here's the thing. Your unconscious mind is responsible for about 90%, where your conscious mind is about 10%. So as you're listening to me here now, you're hearing me with your conscious mind, your focus. Your unconscious mind is where your emotions are and what runs your body and preserves your body and keeps you safe. And when you tap into the full mind, the unconscious mind and the conscious mind, you can access 100%. And as a side note, that's what hypnosis will help you do, is access easily that 100% of your mind that's available to you. And a lot of people go around this world just focusing on the 10% and working really hard to make the 10% better, when we know in the world of neuro-linguistic programming, all change, all behavior, and all learning is in the unconscious mind. Okay, so anxiety is a warning from your unconscious mind to focus on what you want. So if you're feeling anxious, then you want to look at, okay, what is it that I really want? And hopefully that'll get rid of it, the anxiety. Now, if that's not going to work for you, and I appreciate that, I'm going to give you some other tools and techniques to help you. So the next one would be, what I want you to know is that the unconscious, I've made some notes here, so I'm making sure that I've talked to you about it. So the anxiety comes from your unconscious mind to alert you to something that is usually an emotion that you need to take a look at, because your emotions are the domain of your unconscious mind. And your unconscious mind doesn't speak to you in words. It sends up emotions. And it wants you to pay attention to something. So if you're feeling anxious, ask yourself, what is it that I want? And if that doesn't work, then you're going to go deeper and say, what emotion am I feeling? Now, I'm going to tell you, most of us in the Western world today cannot label your emotions. I've heard emotions such as alone. And alone is not an emotion. Security is not an emotion. Safety is not an emotion. Let me tell you what an emotion is. Anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt. Those are emotions. Terror, panic. Those are things that we feel. Those are emotions, and those are in your unconscious mind. So what's been happening, the more busy you are in life and with other events, you've probably not been paying attention to the emotions that are coming up. You've just been able to push them down because you've been busy. Well, now, for the last 6 weeks, I'm going to guess that you've probably been less busy and having to focus more internally and be inside your home if you're self-isolating or in quarantine. And these emotions, these pesky emotions, they're starting to come up. All right. So now we've identified that it's a message coming from your unconscious mind that is an emotion, usually negative, that is trying to get your attention of your conscious mind. All right, so that's the source of anxiety. So now I'm going to tell you that. So now I'm going to do another teach piece, which is about how your body works. So in the ancient times, as we were starting to evolve, what would happen is we developed a system in our body, and it's hypothalamic, pituitary, adrenal axis. I'm going to explain all of that if you're not familiar with those terms. So first of all, for example, say what would happen out in the ancient plains, we would go out and we would hunt, and we would see the saber-toothed tiger. And it would go, we would have an reaction to that. And it would be, oh my goodness, hypothalamic would be, we need to send a message to the pituitary gland, which is inside your brain somewhere. And then that sends a message to the adrenals, which goes, okay, do I fight or do I flight? Take off. And so what's happening is today, that same system, because it's evolutionary, is still working in your body and in your brain to the smallest threat. And if you know anything about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you know that we are at the very base right now. We've all been put back down to the security and safety, which is the lowest rungs of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you don't know about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Google it. And so what's happening is there's more threats, perceived threats, and that's causing anxiety. It's causing these emotions, these negative emotions to well up that weren't there. Often fear is what it is. Okay, so here's what you do about all of that. This is, first of all, recognize that your body and your mind are running perfectly and doing what they need to do to keep you safe. They're alerting you. Unfortunately, it's coming up as anxiety. So instead of taking some sort of pill or beverage or food to push down those emotions, dig inside. Go inside. Either find somebody to talk to, or journal, or speak out loud to a mirror, or somehow just go inside and ask yourself this very simple question. What emotion am I feeling? That's it. What emotion am I feeling right now? What emotion am I feeling as you feel this anxiousness? Okay. And then underneath that, what emotion am I feeling? What specifically am I worried about right now? Go inside, put a light on it. Shine the light on what's bothering you. And what you will probably find, I hope, my wish is for you is that you'll, as soon as you shine the light on the thing that's bothering you the most, you'll go, oh, I didn't know that I was worried about that. And then what I'd like you to do, here's one technique for you. Once you've identified what that is, you go inside and you realize, okay, it's fear. I'm worried about. I am fearful of. Then do some working around that. Like, okay, what is it specifically? This is the key. What specifically am I worried about? What specifically am I feeling fear about? What specifically am I feeling anxious about? And once you know what that is, oftentimes, as soon as you shine a light on it, it disappears. And if it doesn't, then I have another idea for you. If it doesn't, if it doesn't immediately disappear, then go, okay, so I'm going to name it. What if the biggest fear you have is that you're not going to have enough money to pay tomorrow's bills? That's where a lot of people's anxiety is right now. So if that's the case, play out the worst case scenario. Play it all the way out to the end. Worst case scenario. Go into it in your, write it out, worst case scenario. And then check in. Are you going to be okay if the worst case scenario plays out? I wouldn't be surprised if you will be, because we're very fortunate, if you're in the Western world, to know that there's always a place where we can sleep. There's always there's a bank. The government's been incredibly helpful to us in the Western world. There's always a place. There's always somebody. There's always a friend. There's a family member. There's always somebody who will help you. If worse comes to worse, you will be okay. I know that in my worst case scenario, I had to flee my home in 1996 because my first husband had threatened to kill me. I took a bag and I was just fine with that one bag. I was fine. No, I was fortunate. I had family members and I was just fine. And I'm even better today because I have an amazing man in my life and he's my husband and he treats me well and all is well. And thank God I left the first husband because A, I'm alive, and B, I wouldn't have met this lovely man that I'm with right now. So play out the worst case scenario of your biggest fear, because that's probably what's causing the anxiety, and see if you're going to be okay. And I'm going to share with you, you probably will be. And here's another technique. This is something that we teach in the Neuro Linguistic Programming course, and I want to share it with you so that you can do it for yourself. And it's called the Anxiety Protocol. So first of all, what you need to do is understand that you have a timeline. You have a past and a future, and you have the present, right? So recognize that that implies a line. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you to float up above your timeline and out into the future. And we're going to remove this anxiety. And so I'd like you to do this with me. I'm going to walk you through it as if you could do this. So the first thing you need to do is think about a specific event in the future that is causing you to feel anxious. So what is it? Is it a presentation that you need to do? Is it going to have a conversation and do an ask for something that makes you feel a little bit anxious? Whatever it is, think about the one specific event. If you have to do multiple events, you can come back and listen to this part of the recording. So think of one specific event. The second thing you need is the time as to when that's going to happen in the future. So here's how it goes. I'm going to walk you through it now. So I want you to think about an event in the future that is causing you to feel anxious now. Pull it up. Think about it. Okay. Know that you're safe in the here and the now. So thinking about that event in the future that is causing you to feel anxious now, I want you to play it out in your mind. Don't go into it too deeply, because the unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between real and imaginary. So don't play it out just be aware of the time. So for example, it might be having a conversation with somebody in the future, and it's causing you to feel anxious now. So go out into the future, and you know you're going to have that conversation with them, say on Wednesday of next week. Okay, you've scheduled the meeting for 10 a.m. And you know that the meeting will be done by 11 a.m. next Wednesday. So go to 15 minutes after the successful, that's the key word, successful completion of the conversation. Again, your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between real and imaginary. So make it positive. See yourself leaving the meeting, shaking the other person's hand, or whatever event. See a positive outcome of whatever event is happening. And go to 15 minutes past the successful completion of the event in the future, say next Wednesday. Okay. So to be really clear here, you're going to 11:15 a.m. next Wednesday, the successful completion of the event, the conversation that you're feeling anxious about now, if that's the case, or whatever event it is in the future. Okay. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Float up above your timeline and out into the future to this event, to 15 minutes after the successful completion of the event of which you thought you were worried about that is going to take place in the future. And staying up high above your timeline, looking down on that event and seeing yourself smiling and feeling all of the worry, anxiety, fear, terror, whatever that it is, just melt away, and seeing everything change as a result of the successful completion of whatever the event is. And as you look back towards now above your timeline, on your timeline, you can see all of the changes that have happened as a result of the decision that you made and the actions that you took in the meeting next week. Because it's gone well. It's gone better than you ever could have thought. In fact, everybody's happy. And you're feeling much better. Now, ask yourself, as you stay up high on your timeline, looking back towards now, where's the anxiety? It's gone, right? Good. Staying up high above your timeline, keeping your eyes closed, I'd like you to come back towards now, looking at all the changes and everything that has happened as a result of the decision that you've made by going out into the future and releasing this. And seeing yourself coming back calmly to now, float, staying up high, and come down into now and float back into the room. And when you're ready, open your eyes and feel how it's different now. And that's the technique. And hopefully, by having done this technique and being aware that these emotions are messages from your unconscious mind, and knowing that you have the power inside of you to change what you're thinking by focusing on what you want, the anxiety will disappear. Of course, if it doesn't, I'm here. Call me, reach out to me. Go to my website, successandclarity.com, book a free clarity session with me. We'll spend an hour. And I'll talk to you and see if there's something I can do to help you out. Okay? So my name again is Suzanne Longstreet. I'm a mindset and success coach. I'm also an NLP master coach and a master hypnotherapist. And these are the qualifications that I use in my work to help people get rid of their anxiety, their past trauma, their negative emotions, the limiting beliefs that are keeping them stuck. Because you have a big, bright life to live. And I want you to live it in happiness and joy, looking forward to everything that you have in your potential and in your future. I hope that this helps you. Please let me know. Thank you for listening and for being here.